Well, hello there, and welcome back to our second segment of Cityline. With me, I have a warm, wonderful person who gives so much back to their community. And we're talking about the Swan Creek cleanup, which is one of the things this person gives back. And we're talking about Christian Lopez Moriano. You are the producer and producer of VT Radio Universal. Welcome to Cityline.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here. And I asked you ahead of time, what does VT stand for?
Voice Tacoma.
Voice Tacoma. Way to go. Way to keep the hometown in there.
Yes.
So, Christian, tell us about the Swan Creek Park cleanup that's happening in June. When is it? Who's behind it? And what is happening?
2 years ago, before the pandemic, I was part of a group in East Tacoma called East Tacoma Collaborative. Mm-hmm. We were a small group of neighbors and people that has love for East Tacoma. And in the beginning of 2020, without knowing what was going to happen with the entire world, one of our members, who is so passionate about planting and taking care of the gardens around the what was called at that moment the East Side Family Support Center, super close to Swan Creek, and he came out with this idea of celebrating Day of Earth, which is in April.
Yes.
By not only posting something nice and green maybe on social media, but actually to get our hands dirty by picking up some garbage that was necessary to do at Swan Creek. So the idea was well received by the other members, but then the pandemic came.
Right.
And when we thought we were not going to do it, we thought, no, that's something that we can do it following the guidelines of the pandemic. And on that moment,
that's right.
Some agencies at the beginning say, yes, we support you, we'll send people, but July came, early July came, and the restrictions could make that possible. But still, this a small group of motivated people, we thought it's necessary to do it, and we can do it in an organized way. So with the support of many community members, and I have to say this, but because they really deserve the credit, but our friends at Tacoma, East Side Tacoma Collaborative, Vidal Rojas, he's the one that came out with that idea, and it was supported by Rene Meshi and by Maria Teresa Games, Luis Garcia, and some other members that were also part of
that. What a great leader you are, giving a shout out to your team. Yes. So, Christian, it occurred to me that there are some who might not be familiar with Swan Creek Park. It's a 373-acre green space that is second only, ready, to Point Defiance. You have a beautiful video that we're going to watch here, so go ahead and roll that footage.
Las tierras, las aguas y el aire tradicionales son contiguos y trascienden. Los honramos como seres vivos a través de sus historias y de su futuro indígena. Imagino a mis hijos, sobrinos y nietos caminando por estos senderos verdes, como yo lo hacía en mi juventud. Recuerdo con cierta nostalgia y alegría este gran lugar. Fue aquí donde crecí, donde salí a pasar con Simón. Simón fue mi gran amigo canino, un agradable pastor australiano, que me acompañó en mis mejores aventuras de joven. Mi deseo es que las nuevas generaciones disfruten este parque tanto como yo lo hacía, que tengan espacios verdes y seguros. Quiero que Swan Creek Park sea lo que era antes. Es parte importante del lugar donde crecí, es parte de mi comunidad. Es aquí donde mi papá solía correr todas las mañanas. Es aquí donde Katy, mi vecina, solía pasear al mediodía con su hijo. Es aquí donde los jóvenes andaban en bicicleta. Swan Creek es un escape de la ciudad, del ruido, el tráfico, y me siento responsable de mantenerlo limpio y seguro. Por lo que hoy hago un llamado para mantener Swan Creek como se merece y como lo merecen nuestros hijos. No dejemos que se siga deteriorando. No podemos simplemente ignorar el problema de basura e inseguridad que se vive actualmente. No olvidemos que nuestro parque es una gran fuente de oxígeno y sobre todo que es parte de nuestra vida, historia y recuerdos. Involucremos a nuestra familia, amigos, vecinos a mantener limpio nuestro parque. Es importante hacer pequeñas acciones por nuestro parque y tal vez si todos lo hacemos, se puedan multiplicar y puedan cambiar el mundo. Hay mucho por hacer. Espera el llamado, cuento con tu participación para dejar una huella positiva en nuestro parque, en nuestra comunidad, en las futuras generaciones. Recuerda, este parque es la casa de plantas, animales, peces y nosotros solo somos sus invitados.
Look at that. Oh, wow, wow, wow. That is beautiful and so well done. And as you said, you have some wonderful people on your team. So let's talk about, you mentioned Tacoma Ocean Fest, and I know this cleanup is a part of the festival's month of events. How does a cleanup in a creek help the ocean? Give us the connection there, Christian.
The beautiful creek you saw there in the video, it has a direct connection with the ocean. So it brings everything from Swan Creek and even farther than Swan Creek. So pollution can easily go to the ocean. So that's why it's so important to keep it clean.
You know, I love how you said that because before we've had like people on talking about, rainwater and talking about washing your car and water grants. And it amazes me when people make the connection of Swan Creek goes out to the Pacific Ocean and it goes back around to the Atlantic Ocean. So we are all connected, aren't we, Christian?
Yes.
We are. Tell us about VT Radio. How did VT, Voice of Tacoma Radio, which you started, how did it get involved in helping Swan Creek?
It did play an important role because that was one way to communicate with, especially with the Latinx community here in Tacoma, to participate through some public service announcements and also a small video we did to easy share on social media. That's how we invited the community in Spanish and English to participate. Voice Tacoma Radio Universal, it's also a community project. It started as a hobby and people got excited, and it is an ongoing project that also is growing up. We have a good partnership with some also low power FM radio stations here in the area.
Yay.
Where we are sharing our contents.
Okay, what number are you on the dial? Tell me.
Well, we are online. That's a radio station online, so anybody that can that have a cell phone, tablet, PC can connect with us. But also we share some of our programs with KTQA 95.3 here in Tacoma.
Nice.
And 106.5 low power FM also in South King County.
I love that. So there's also a part of this that is called Chip In, and that comes from the Metro Parks Tacoma side. Yes. Refresh us, because it's been, 2.5, almost 3 years since we've talked about Chip In.
Yes. Well, it is for those that maybe cannot make it to the event, to the cleanup, don't worry, because that's an opportunity to say, okay, I would like to become responsible for like this area. I want to adopt a spot. And it doesn't have to be only in Swan Creek. It could be other parks around Tacoma. But it's a beautiful program that gives the opportunity for people to do this, I would say, in a more constantly
Yes.
way. And the family can adopt a spot and say, hey kids, guess what we're gonna do this summer?
That's
we're
right.
gonna clean this spot and we're gonna come make it a habit,
Yes.
a good habit. And that way we can leave something for our kids, inspiration. Not only we want to live a clean and a safe planet, but we want to live also people that is going to continue
right.
that legacy.
People who hold that responsibility
Yes.
close to their heart, and children are perfect to teach that to. In this last 2 minutes, what's coming in the future for your partner group?
We have many plans, but our main idea is to keep going with creating this tradition.
Yes.
And to honor the land, to honor the people that was here before
Yes.
everybody else, and to say we appreciate this important part of the body of Tacoma. There was somebody that was calling it the pulmon, which is like the the organ we need to breathe.
Yes.
That's like almost what Swan Creek represent for many of us.
The
we live in
lung.
the area. The lung, yes.
Yeah, and if we don't have the lung, we don't have the whole body, which is the world.
Yes.
So how can people help with Chip In to keep Swan Creek beautiful? And I'm going to ask you to answer this in your beautiful Spanish.
Sí. Bueno, CHIP es un programa que tiene Metro Parks y es para personas que quieran registrarse para no solamente limpiar, mantener, sino también para educar a futuras generaciones y de esta manera mantener nuestros parques limpios. Es como un programa de corresponsabilidad, así que los invito a participar no solamente a finales de junio, en el último fin de semana de junio, en la limpieza que se va a llevar a cabo en el sábado, y vamos a comenzar desde las 10 de la mañana con posibilidades de extender, si el clima nos permite, al día siguiente, domingo también.
Oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Christian, I can't thank you enough for being here today. This is the first time you've been on the comfy couch. You have an open invitation to come back and also to bring people next time. So Christian, thank you so much for what you do for our city and for our environment. You are a gem.
My pleasure. Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have Aaron Gwinnett in the house. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.